Welcome back, guys. Thanks for joining me again. I'm here at a cafe having a latte. Hopefully you're on the other end doing the same. In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at two watch dealers to try and get an understanding or temperature for the current watch market and maybe get an understanding of what 2024 is going to look like. So before I get into the video, remember to give it a like. Also, you guys can give it a super like. And if you haven't subscribed yet, guys, hit the subscribe button. Now, let's get at is Grand Caliber. They're based in Dallas, Texas. Now, they had a rough few years, but they seem to be optimistic of their future. They started 2024 reporting great numbers for the first 2 weeks.
Hey guys, it's Deja with Grand Caliber, and we're here with another video for you. It's the second week of January, and we're starting 2024 off pretty strong, in my opinion. We're at about $800K in revenue for the month so far, and we've already sold 51 watches. We're pretty confident we're going to close out around $1 million before the end of the week. Dang. So we're super excited about this month and what this year is going to bring for Grand Caliber.
So their first 2 weeks was great, but that didn't last too long because we have an update report from Jimmy.
Well, I'll give you guys a little update on the business for the week. This week was actually a lot slower than prior weeks. Last video, I must have jinxed it. We had a hot start to the year. But Monday was MLK Day, so we were closed for the federal holiday. Tuesday, I don't know how you guys are around the US, but we had a cold front come through. So a lot of our FedEx packages, a lot of watches have been delayed. I saw delays throughout the country, Memphis, one of the big FedEx hubs. So most of the team wasn't even here on Tuesday. And then lingering into this week, we've had a couple people sick. So here, let's walk. Yeah, it's been a little slower week. I think we only sold about 12 watches this week, which, to give you some comparison, we did about 80 in the first 2 weeks. We were ahead of pace. Now we're on pace, which is a little bit of a bummer, but I don't know what.
So what does this tell us? Not much. Maybe they just had 2 lucky weeks and they just got slapped right back to reality the third week. Something new that I want to mention is that Grand Caliber is implementing having an in-house jeweler.
So we thought that, what if we merge the businesses, start introducing somebody in-house who could do bridal custom jewelry and, obviously like name brand jewelry as well. So if you needed Cartier or Van Cleef, all that stuff could be done in-house. And he's got, how many years of experience do you have?
Over a decade now.
Yeah, it's just like the way I am with watches, he is with like jewelry. Like he knows his stuff. Okay, so.
And I think this may be a great idea, not having their eggs just in one basket, because not everyone are watch collectors, but every week, hundreds of people are getting married.
And Marissa. Don't do it.
And on top of that, women are the largest consumers, and jewelry is right up their alley.
He ain't lying.
Another thing I noticed in their video is their outlook for their store, which I think is a great idea.
The goal is to one day really get to ground floor. As like we could expand on the jewelry and then expand on the watches. We'll finally be a nice brick and mortar watch and jewelry store, which really always does well. Like no matter what, those type of brick and mortar stores always historically have done really well. And especially with our platform and what we know and what you know, I think it'll be like, it'll be a tour de force in my opinion.
So having their store on the ground level, on the first floor, I believe is the best idea because foot traffic and people driving by will be able to know the stores there and see their merchandise, which means overall more business. The second company we're going to take a look at is Alpha Crown with Mike and Josh. They share the same location as Grand Caliber in Dallas, Texas. And another thing that they share with Grand Caliber is their recent separating from their original partnership and rebranding. Since their rebranding, they experienced a robbery where they lost a few high-priced watches, some being consignment watches, which I believe they're still waiting on the insurance payout to cover their watches, but also their consigners' watches. Now, speaking on consignment, we all know the dark cloud that's been over this whole consignment process in the past few months. The process where a consigner gives his or her timepiece to a dealer to sell at a certain cost. Now, Anthony Farah is largely to blame for the discomfort and lack of trust in the consignment process, but also an unfortunate event like a robbery where a consignment piece may be taken, but the dealer doesn't have enough money on hand to pay out the consigner right away. In a situation like this, the dealer has to wait for the insurance payout to cover their losses, but also the consignor's losses. So Mike and Josh, being aware of the discomfort of potential consignors in the future, they decided to do something about it.
We're going to be presenting some new options that I think would be hard to argue with if you are extremely anti-consignment. And by the way, all of the critics, a lot of you have shed light, and us ourselves have shed light on the problems of consignment. Literally, we're calling it hybrid consigning.
Yeah.
If you want to hybrid consign.
So here, and let's break down basically the gist of it.
Well, why is it a hybrid?
Hybrid. So we're not buying your watch outright. We're still going to list your watch, and there's still going to be a fee.
Yeah, that's consignment part.
Right. But the biggest part of this, during this agreement, the watch is actually going to be maintained in your possession, the owner, and not in our possession, the consignee.
It's much easier if we ship the watch in and we have it in inventory. We can showcase it. We can take photos and all of that. But with the current climate of consignment, I think hybrid consigning is the necessary step. When it comes to the hybrid consigning, we are still going to receive the watch. We're going to ship it in. It's going to be at the cost of the consignor, and then we will ship it back promptly within 2 to 3 days. We'll have an agreement where you're not going to be wearing the watch. It is, in fact, going to maintain in the same condition as whenever we received it and inspected it and authenticated it and took all of the pictures and videos for our marketing efforts. But number two is...
So my opinion on a hybrid process of consigning your watches is that it's a smart idea, especially if the consignor doesn't trust the dealer with a very high priced timepiece. They did mention that part of the agreement is that the consignor, even though they have their timepiece in their possession while they wait for it to be sold, that they won't be allowed to wear it, which honestly, I think is going to be hard for that consignor to do. Overall, though, I believe having this option side by side with the original way of consigning your watches is going to be good for business. I think this hybrid process of consignment will be used mostly by locals just because of the added logistics to having to ship your timepiece to the dealer, have them take pictures of it, have them ship it back to you, and wait for it to be sold, for you to ship it back to the dealer, for them to ship it to the person that purchased it. I don't know, but it seems like a lot could still go wrong, but only time will tell. So for the two companies that I mentioned, they're trying to be creative, they're trying to solve problems, and they're optimistic. So in all honesty, you can't be mad at that. Guys, I don't want this video to be too long, so I'm gonna end it here. There's definitely gonna be a part 2, so stay tuned for that. Thanks for watching. Remember to like, share, and subscribe if you haven't done it yet. And guys, stay tuned for some more videos.